Hey guys, I am DC, and I am your host of Barside Jive Live, and we've got a great show for you this evening. So welcome to our first freaking show. It's a pilot, but we won't call it a pilot because it's just going to go perfect. I know, because I just feel the vibe. It's going to go perfect, right, Sheldon?
Absolutely.
So,
what is a pilot? Why do they call the pilot a pilot?
They call it a pilot so you can fuck up and it'll be okay. So, because it's not an official, it's not your official episode yet.
But how did they get the name pilot?
It's a practice. I don't know.
What's the deal with the word pilot?
I don't know. I guess maybe we should have researched it, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
We're bringing the ship into the harbor.
Throw you curveball right away there. Sorry.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Yeah. Now it's really a pilot.
You're right.
It's all your fault. Don't worry. We'll give you credit.
Thank you.
All right. So, guys, we really appreciate you being here. We're really excited to be here. And what a better place to be is in the city of Dallas at the Vokal Studios. So, yay. This show's going to happen at 7:30 p.m. Till 8:30 p.m. every Thursday. Now, we said we were going to do one pilot this month, and then it was going to be over, and then next month we would start up, fresh with our first episode, first week of January. But we lied because because we've decided that next week on the 20th we may do a pilot too, because we've got some talent that is a good match for this show, and they're going to be here in town. And so they want to play, and so we're not going to stop them. So they're going to come by, and we're going to have another show next week on the 20th. So it's going to be pretty exciting. But back to today, our show is going to be a weekly 7:30 to 8:30 show, and it's going to be all about music. And the reason it's about music is because music is something in our lives that we all need. It's healing. It brings us together, it connects us, and it's not divisive. And so we dig music, and that's what this show's all going to be about. We're glad you're here on December 13th. Man, only 12 more days till Christmas, man. Ooh, 12 days. Ooh. Did you ask for anything specific?
A hit record would be great.
Well, you may already get that.
Please, Santa Claus.
May get that.
Yeah.
What about you, Sheldon?
Oh, we're all asking for the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, well, you guys have done a good one. And I want to remind you guys, you see us drinking Outlaw Cider, and I want to thank Outlaw Cider for sponsoring the show. They are in historic downtown Grapevine, Texas, and I'm going to be enjoying, this is the Voodoo Blackberry Hard Cider. I know Mike and Sheldon and Nikki are having their own. We all chose something different, but we want to thank Outlaw Cider for that. And I especially want to thank you guys for showing up, because we know what? You've got other things you could be doing on a Thursday night, like getting ready for Friday night. So we appreciate you stopping in. We appreciate the loves, likes, and supports, either through Facebook or YouTube or now Vokal Media's platform, because now our exposure is really huge, and we do appreciate that very much. Can't do it without you, that's for sure. So if you guys want to be featured on this show, if you own a business, you own a company, you want to be featured, you want to advertise, it's really easy to do. For right now, just DC at barsidejive.com is the place to go. Again, it's DC at barsidejive.com. What else I got here? Before I introduce my guests, I want to tell you about my last interview trip I made just recently, like a week ago. And I went up to the mountains, up 3 hours north of Las Vegas in Nevada, to a little town called Pioche. And what was in store for me there will never leave me. I had no idea how much fun I was going to have. So about a year or so ago, I wrote an email to a guy named Kelly Garni. And Kelly Garni grew up in Burbank with a guy named Randy Rhodes. And those two guys were friends from middle school on, and hung out together, played together, best of friends. And then they decided to, actually Randy decided he needed a bassist because they wanted to start a band, right? Because Randy had been playing a guitar for a long time. His mother ran a music school. So something that you do too right there.
Correct,
right?
Yep.
So Randy taught Kelly how to play bass, and so they could start a band, and they did, and it was eventually became Quiet Riot. And they played together for a long time, and then of course, Kelly left the band, and Randy joined Ozzy shortly thereafter, and then died in a tragic plane crash. But anyway, so I sent this email to Kelly. He denied my request for an interview. I'm a little guy. I'm not Rolling Stone magazine, so when they get the call or get the email, I'm sure they're like, who's this guy, right? So. But I've been very blessed with the people that have agreed to my interviews, from Bunny Carlos with Cheap Trick, Jimmy Vaughn, Cher Ross with Vixen, Roger Earl with Foghat. I've had some great people that have accepted my invitation, done some great stuff with. But Kelly really put it at a different level, because he said, here's the deal: you come up here to Pioche, pay your way to come up here to Pioche, spend a night or two, I'll take care of you. I was like, okay. So I go up there. We do a pre-Quiet Riot days interview in his restaurant cafe, and then we go to an 1800 period saloon, because in this town they had more killings than Dodge City and Tombstone. I mean, there was a ton of people killed back in the 1800s there. So we went to this old saloon and did a Quiet Riot years, And then he said, well, let's go ride the Flexi Flyer. I'm like, okay. So we go out and ride this thing called a Flexi Flyer. And let me tell you, it was quite an experience. And if you look at my knees, you can see that, if I can get the picture up right there, that's a Flexi Flyer. So you lay down on your belly. On this thing, and he found the biggest hill he could find. And so he rode it first, and it was my turn. So I rode it, and looking at him doing it, you don't think you're going that fast. But when you're laying on the thing, your nose is 2 or 3 inches from the pavement, you're going fast. So we rode it. I hit an ice patch, really took off. And, and I think this thing's probably weighted for somebody under 100 pounds, and like I'm double that. So anyway, long story short, an intersection's coming up, and I didn't want to run out in the traffic, so I hit this snow bank on the side, because it was snow in there. Hit the snow bank, kind of crashed, came off, my knees scraped the ground, took about a couple layers of skin off. But I did ride the Flexi Flyer with Kelly. Kelly said now he's going to hang it on the wall and he's done, because he hadn't ridden it in 50 years. And so, but his training as a kid paid off, because he didn't get hurt, and I did. So anyway, after that, we went to Boot Hill, checked out all the old graves of all the old dead people, got killed in gunfights and all. And then we went to his place, finished the interview there at his house. It was awesome. So if you guys are ever in Pioche, Nevada, go see Kelly Garni. He runs a place called Ghost Town Art and Coffee, or Ghost Town Coffee and Art. I can't remember. He's a cool guy, laid back, just sweet as hell, and he's got this restaurant there, the best food, the best tacos, the best burgers. Everything's organic, natural. Everything's good there. He's an artist, so he's got his artwork there, and he's got a book. He wrote about him and Randy Rhoads. So you can learn a lot more about Randy Rhoads and Kelly Garni and their friendship in this book. And so you can go to ghosttownart.com, get the book, read up on Kelly Garni. He's a cool guy. So, hope that was interesting. Nikki, she's over there asleep. So let's talk about our guest today, because I know that's what you guys tuned in for. So our guests today are a couple of guys. Of course, Nikki, she's like a video star, so she's here too. From the band that you guys have known to love. They're like the best AC/DC tribute band in America, Back in Black. Well, these guys have just announced that they've finally completed, because I heard a couple of those tunes way back, and so I was really anxious to hear a whole album, and they did it, and it's done, and they're Stripwired. That is the name of their original project, and if you think they're good in Back in Black, you hadn't heard nothing yet, but by the time this show's over, you'll heard it all, because we're going to play most of them, if not all of them, tonight. And you know what? I think we just ought to play one, right now. You think it's cool?
Let's yeah, absolutely.
Let's just play one.
Let's play one.
I want to hear one.
You want to hear one?
I want to hear one.
Let's do the video.
That is why they call it a pilot.
That is exactly right.
We still don't know what it means, Mike, but that's why they call it a pilot.
As we move along here, we're going to find out more and more why they call it a pilot. Thanks, Mike, for jinxing us.
Yes.
It's all Mike's fault. We have no monitor, but we're going to keep going. But this album will feature brand new songs as well as revamped versions of tracks featured from a home studio demo released in 2007.
That's correct.
All right. The band recorded at Valve Studio in Dallas, Texas. Sterling Winfield, known for his projects with Pantera, Damage Plan, and Hell Yeah, was recruited to help produce and mix. I just did an interview with Terry Glaze, original vocal for Pantera. Grew up with Daryl and Vince.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool interview. Yeah,
I bet.
Yeah, talk about the early days.
Right.
Yeah, and Terry left about the time they really went heavy metal. So yeah, Terry's a great guy, man. If you ever get to meet him, but so studio owner Casey Diario engineered the sessions. Mastering was done by Robert Voisin. God, I knew I'd fuck that up. Voisin at Capitol Records in Hollywood, California. Fans can expect high-octane hard rock combined with driving and infectious riffs and gritty vocals that has become synonymous with Stripwired. The band is the brainchild of guitarist Mike Mraz.
Hello.
And vocalist Darren Caperna. Darren was actually invited to audition for AC/DC in March of 2016 when Brian Johnson left the band due to a hearing problem. Mraz was fortunate enough to join Caperna on the audition and met Angus Young, who he portrays in Back in Black.
Not a bad day, my friend.
Not a bad gig there, was it, Mike?
No.
You could have just stayed, right?
I still can't believe it happened. It was a great day. Great day.
I know it was. We're going to talk about it. So, as we all know, Axl Rose got the gig over Darren. I'm sure Darren was number 2. But when these guys experience AC/DC's real behind-the-scenes work ethic, it inspired them to write some new original material. And now we got it. So let's welcome Stripwired to the show. Sheldon.
How you doing?
Hey, good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Daryl. This is very nice. Yeah, I mean, it's the music business just sucks, and to get some support from you like this is huge, and it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Well, that is my pleasure to have you guys on, and what better timing, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Right.
Worked out perfectly because
Yeah.
we've been talking about this for a while.
Yeah.
And now it all lined up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
So, but the timing is great, and I want to point out that in the video, another shot that was Nikki
That was Nikki.
as a brunette. That was Nikki.
Yeah.
Have we had Nikki on camera at all? Okay, hang
We
on.
need to get her
You
on
can
here.
sneak
and
over here. Come on over.
Let's find her. Hang on. Let's find her.
Our
Here.
demographic
That's
is mostly
Jimmy.
guys, and
That's Jimmy.
They'd rather look at her.
That's Mike. There's
There's Nikki.
she is. There she is.
With brand new hair.
There she is. Yeah, no brunette. So, but no, that was pretty cool that you guys provided all this music. So I guess I was lucky that I got to hear it in advance of most people.
yeah, right.
And-
Nobody's heard it yet, so we're excited to play it tonight.
Right. So tell me, guys, who came up with the name Stripwired?
I think that was myself. We wanted a name that was just us. If you Google it, we wanted a name that would only appear for us. And so the guys liked the name Wired, but unfortunately it was taken by another band. And we actually came out of the gate in 2007 with the name Wired, but we had a cease and desist letter delivered to my home
I hate those.
from some little
Those really suck.
punk teenage band that hired an attorney.
Oh,
And they're not even around anymore. So
oh man.
we just put the word strip in front of it and made it our own. So it worked out pretty good.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. So tell me about the lineup.
The lineup it's just perfect. Darren and I have been together since 1990. We met back in LA. We were an original band back then, and the band I was in, we were in a garage in Burbank, California, and we were rehearsing probably twice a week for over a year without a singer, and we were just hoping that we would finally find somebody. And you think in LA there's so many musicians, and we would find a singer in the first week, and it turns out there's a lot of musicians and singers in LA, but nobody's as talented as they claim. And there's a lot of musicians, unfortunately. Please don't hate me, guys, but there's a lot of flaky musicians out there, and it's tough to find somebody with a good work ethic. And then one day, Darren came bopping into the rehearsal room, and he was talking and trying to play everybody's instrument. And he stepped up to that microphone, and I heard his voice. And he has such a powerful voice. He's from New York. He's a loud person to begin with. And I love you, Darren, but he knows I'm speaking the truth. But that guy has such a powerful voice. And I just recognized that voice and that talent that he had right away, and I just knew he was going to be our guy, and we've been in love ever since.
That is very
and then so Darren and I, we started the band back in 2000, and as it evolved, we met our current lineup. Sheldon here, we had our eye on him for a long time. He was a great bass player. He's in a band called Def Legend, another great tribute here in DFW. And we always admired him, and he was just a great singer, and we knew we just would love him in the band, and fortunately he joined the band. And Ken, our drummer, he was in Blaze of Glory.
Ken's awesome.
Yeah, and we used to go see Blaze of Glory all the time, and I just loved watching Ken because Ken hits the drums very, very hard.
Yeah.
And you need that in AC/DC.
Yeah.
And Sheldon, do you concur?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Bonham, like a John Bonham.
He is our freight train. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's truly driving the bus. And when we're getting ready for sound check, and it still happens. We played over 100 shows this year, and I don't know how many shows since he's joined the band, but he'll set up his drums, and all of a sudden he'll sit down and he'll smack his snare, just one hit, and we're all on stage, and we'll just jump, and he'll scare the hell out of us because he hits it so hard, and he's got this big, loud snare drum.
Yeah.
But that's so key in AC/DC. You need a big kick and a big snare, and he just delivers that big time.
Just to add to that, just for anybody who's, listens to Ken and you want to know how hard he hits, he tapes his hands, tapes his knuckles, and wears mechanics gloves and comes out bleeding periodically at the end of the night.
Wow.
I mean, he is driving, driving
hard.
Force. It's amazing.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And as I found out in my career as a musician, you have to have a badass, amazing drummer in a band. I mean, you can be the best guitar player in the world. You can have a great singer, but if your drummer's not happening, you're going to suck.
Right.
And it's so key to have a great drummer. And all the great bands have amazing drummers. And we were really fortunate to snag Ken. And then our other guitar player, Ramiro, he came as a reference from another guy that was in the band that was a great friend of ours, Scott LePage, but he wanted to pursue his career, and he had a great family life, and it was a lot of traveling. And he recommended Ramiro to us, and Ramiro came in and just filled some really big shoes. And he's another great singer, great guy, plays for the song, a real team player.
Right.
And now, Daryl, my life is really boring with the band because I have no drinking problems. There's no drug issues. These guys have a great work ethic. They show up on time. And I think a lot of the guys in bands can appreciate this. But, man, we paid our dues because I had a lot of drama in this band for a long time, and now I'm bored, and I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, now things are just – it's such a smooth, well-oiled machine and Back in Black.
Yeah. Right.
And honest to God, it's kind of a loving with all of us. I know it seems crazy, but we travel well. Everything's perfect. It's seamless and easy on stage. So – we really thought what better to do than fuck that all up completely by doing a solo project.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's what made,
or an original project.
I guess that's what made Stripwired easier because you had all the synergy from all these guys that are just working so well together.
Yeah, and I knew I had a special lineup here, and I really wanted to do an original project. This is something this is how I grew up. I've wanted to do it, and the tribute band scene has been amazing. we're going to go on 19 years this January,
Wow.
which is just bananas. And
Mm.
the success we've experienced is just mind-blowing. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, from the AC/DC audition to playing to 36,000 people, opening for one of my favorite bands, Cheap Trick,
Yeah.
at
Oh, yeah.
Bone Bash. And by the way, I saw your interview with Bunny Carlos, and
Yeah.
that was great.
Was it?
And what a Chicago accent he has.
Yeah.
I never realized because he never said much with the band, but wow. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
waiting for him to say, yeah, Ditka taught me how to play the drums here. You have any sausage backstage there?
Oh, he's an awesome guy,
Yeah,
man.
he was awesome.
Well, you know, when you said something earlier about going back to Darren having something about bop, that's the way that dude's definitely got a bop when he walks, doesn't he, Darren? I mean, that's like a signature bop.
It's the New York attitude, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, let's hear another song.
All right.
What about Backdoor?
Backdoor's a band favorite. Let's
Okay.
try that one.
Let's do it.
She's my secret lover, doing things behind his back. Make me feel like no other. My train is running off the track. I should have seen it coming. I should have walked away. And started running. He came on early today. You're non-stop, walk out the town. Yes, so I'm saying. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through her back door. Oh, she's a lunatic. Make me feel safe and warm. She's got a bag of tricks, hey, blowing me up like a stone. She's got an evil side, bring the devil to his knees. Won't be denied. That woman sure knows how to please. She's non-stop, walk through the town. Yes, so I'm saying. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through her back door. She said she can't take the pressure, but she sure like the pain. In it for the pleasure, we're gonna do it again. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through her back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through the back door. She got me living through her back door.
You are not putting that in there.
That's awesome. Great song, guys. Great song. What was your inspiration for Backdoor?
Sheldon, would you like to take that one?
Well, Darren wrote most of that lyrically, did he not?
I had the I had the chorus, and then Darren took it from there. So we say that it can be interpreted in many ways.
Yes, that's what I thought.
And that's one of the fun things about a lot of this stuff. I mean, there's definitely a cheek to the lyrics and to the music that's just it's fun, because that's what we're here for, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
We're all here to have a good time,
That's
have
right.
fun listening to it, and so a little bit of double entendre is probably worthwhile.
Right. So let's talk about the early days. Like, let's go back, Mike, because I know you were there. You were there at the beginning. Maybe right there at the start when you and Darren started Back in Black.
Darren and I were out in L.A. and we were playing an original band out there, and it sucks because when you're playing in an original band in L.A., usually you got to play during the week when you're starting out, and it's just other musicians that show up, and maybe you have a couple friends, like 5, and you play your set, and all the other musicians, they kind of watch you with their arms crossed, and they look at you, and they're like, you suck, my band should be up there. And then the earthquake hit, and then Darren took off, and our band broke up, and I decided to start a Cheap Trick tribute band. And so I caught a small taste of what it was like to do a tribute act out there, and that was really fun. Tom Peterson actually came out one night and joined us on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. But anyway, back to Darren and I. When we did the original band, we would close with an AC/DC song, and all of a sudden, all those people that were pissed at us were like, "Wow, this is really cool." And I always had that in the back of my mind. And then 10 years later, I moved to Texas, and I just wanted to get out and have a band and just play and not worry about trying to get a record deal and just have fun, and just play guitar and just have a good time. So I called Darren up and said, "Hey, let's do an AC/DC tribute band and not care. I'll fly you out, and we'll do a show once a month and just have some fun." And that's how it started. And the stupid thing just took off on us. We just didn't expect it. And Darren did the song so well, and one great thing about our band is that he can deliver the Brian Johnson vocals, and then also he flips the switch and he could turn into Bon Scott.
Exactly.
And then we can give the AC/DC fan a true experience,
Absolutely.
I love AC/DC, but I never really liked when Brian would sing the Bond stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing, amazing band, but it was always hard for me to get past that. So I love that Darren can do that.
Right.
And it just kept building from there, and the tribute band then also started taking off, because back then it was like 2000. I think there's only one tribute band in town. It was a Beatles tribute band, Hard Day's Night, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess other bands saw the success that we were having, and now there's just this incredible tribute scene and community in Dallas, and we're happy to be part of it.
Oh, yeah, there's so many. Well, I'm glad you and Darren met up and started what you did.
Yeah, we're great friends. We love what we're doing, and we also love to write. Back in L.A., we were writing a lot, and he was living with me, and we would sit and we wrote hundreds, maybe even close to 1,000 songs.
Wow.
And that's how you get good at writing. You just got to keep doing it. And
Right.
we really work together well. So it's about time we finally put together a real professional record, and we're so proud of it. I can't wait for people to hear it. We wanted the top production. We got a great studio. We got a great engineer. We have Sterling Winfield in helping us out, and we got Robert, mastering it. It just turned out great. So
Let's give these guys some more. Let's give them Doghouse.
that's a good one.
Well, I got lipstick on my collar, smelling like a best friend.
the doghouse right now. As a matter of fact. Let's not talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about.
Thought we were all in trouble, dude.
Yeah, no, no, not you guys. So let's talk about when you found out first before even Darren did. You're the one that told Darren about the audition for AC/DC. I want to hear about that because when I talked to Darren a while back, it's been, probably 2 years now, he got the call from you, and you were like freaking out. So tell me about it.
Well, I set the whole damn thing up. It was funny because I have a music school, and Darren works with me there. He's teaching guitar lessons, and I was in my office on social media, and I read, about Brian Johnson, having to quit, because of his hearing problems. I'm like, wow. So I get up from my chair, run over to Darren. He's teaching a lesson. I'm like, hey, did you hear this? He's like, no. And he looked at me really seriously. He goes, well, go get me an audition. And I turn around like, what the heck? How am I going to do that, Right. And then I went back to my office. I sat there for a second. I'm like, maybe I can make this happen. And I started thinking about my resources, and I'm like, I'll send out a couple emails, make a couple calls. And then sure enough, the next morning, I'm getting voicemails and emails from their agent in LA. And I call them back, and they're like, hey, would Darren be interested in coming out and auditioning for AC/DC? I'm like, is this a trick question? They're like, no. And so we spoke to them. Then we spoke to management. I called Darren, and we were all so excited. And I somehow finagled my way into the audition. There's no way I was going to miss out on this opportunity. And they flew us out to Atlanta. And it was maybe a day or two after they had contacted us, because AC/DC, they were on their major tour, and it happened right when they were in Atlanta. So they just stopped where they were at. They set up shop. They were at the Four Seasons downtown. They got this big rehearsal studio, and they said, all right, what are we going to do? And so they started looking for other singers, and AC/DC is a very, very private family. They're super private. And so they asked us, you can't tell anybody about this. So we were sitting on, the biggest secret of our lives, for all this time. And that was really hard. But the experience was unbelievable. I told people they had just played in Dallas maybe a week or two before this all went down, right? And someone asked me, they said, are you guys going to go down there? Are you going to meet the band? You're an AC/DC tribute. Aren't you best friends with Angus? And I'm like, no. I said, I don't even think they know about us. Why would the great AC/DC care about a stupid tribute band? They don't care, And I said, but it'd be really cool if somebody ever went up to them and said, hey, there's a band in Dallas that does you guys justice. I said, if I knew that, life would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, here I am. I'm in the rehearsal room, and then in walks Angus, and he's standing right behind me. And I turned around, I said hi to him, and I said, hey, I want to introduce you to Darren. And he had told me, he says, hey, man, we've known about you guys for a while. He says, we think you guys do an amazing job, and, that's why Darren is here. And I'm like, wow, what an amazing compliment from Angus Young,
Right.
But my mind's going a million miles an hour here because there's so many things I want to tell you about this audition. But I guess I'll start at the beginning again. So Darren and I are on the plane, and they pick us up in this limo. They take us to this amazing hotel, and the first night we're there, we have a meeting with their management. And so we sat down with them. We had a couple of drinks, and they're just like telling us how the audition's going to go, what to expect. We're asking them questions. And the crazy thing about that meeting with them is that they just looked confused. They had never been in this kind of situation before, and they didn't have any real answers for me, And they said, Mike, we just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We know that we've never canceled a show in all of AC/DC's career, which was an amazing fact, right? And they don't want to do that now. They want to make these shows good, because a lot of the shows, they had, I think, 21 shows left on the tour, and I think 10 were over in Europe, and huge arenas as big as the new Dallas Cowboy Stadium. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, and all the tickets are sold, right? So they didn't want to cancel those shows. And then back in the States, they still had another 10 shows. So like, we just need to finish this tour, and we figure this is the best way to do it because Brian's not going to be able to do it. And so, Darren and I went back to the hotel room that night, and we're like, "There's no way we're going to sleep tonight." So we get up, they pick us up, and they drive us to this rehearsal room, and we're just kind of chitting and chatting, and I don't think it really hit us yet. And we're walking through this corridor, and all of a sudden there's this huge double door in front of us, and they open up these doors, and it's their rehearsal room, and they have all their gear set up, and I think it was 8 full Marshalls on each side of the drum kit, and I think it was 2
SVTs.
Yeah, on each side of the drum
yeah,
kit.
Yeah.
Huge monitors in the back line next to the Marshalls, and then there's also tons of monitors in front, right, of the stage. And it's the most amazing rehearsal room we ever saw in our life. And I could see Angus's guitars hanging on the wall here. I see Malcolm's Gretsch over there. And the techs were so cool. They came up and they grabbed me and they said, "Come here, we're going to show you the stuff." And I'm like, oh my God. So the first guy grabbed me, and his name was Chris, and he took me to Malcolm's station, and he let me hold Malcolm's number 2 guitar. I mean, the famous Gretsch that he plays. Took me backstage, showed me all his amps, and it's just, I've always wanted to see that. He's explaining it to me, his rig, and then we go over to Angus's rig, and he's showing me how he tunes his guitars. He uses 3 different tuners, which I thought was really cool. He's like, "This is one of Angus's picks. He doesn't hand these out, but you can have one." So I got one of those. That was kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm real friendly with the guys, and I was real bold, and I said, "Can I just touch the neck and feel what that feels like? Because I was curious to know how thick the neck of his guitars are." And I'm kind of reaching my hand up there, and he goes, "Nope, sorry, can't do that." I'm like, "Okay."
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
I got shot down there, but that was all right.
Shot down in flames.
Shot down in flames.
Yeah.
So then they're going to do a sound check with Darren, and the techs all get on the instruments, right?
Right.
And Darren gets behind the microphone, and they're all warning us, like, "This is going to be loud," And Darren and I are like, "Well, we're an AC/DC tribute band. This can't be that loud. We're tough. We can handle it." And they're like, "No, you don't understand. This is going to be really loud." We're like, come on. He played one chord on Angus's guitar, and it was the loudest noise I've ever heard in my life. I can't call it noise. It was beautiful music, but it was so loud you can feel the waves striking your chest. I mean, I call it AC/DC loud. There's no other loud I've ever heard like this before. And I can't believe they play at that volume. I was telling Sheldon, I'm like, they're all deaf. When you're talking to Angus or anybody in the band, I was like, what? And there's a reason for that, but Angus said he has to feel those waves hitting him when he plays, So Darren does a sound check with the band, and it's so loud. And they said, "Okay, take a breather." And then all of a sudden, we have tea and crumpets, and here comes AC/DC, And Angus comes in. His wife, Ellen, was there, and I got to meet her, and she's just a lovely woman. Chris Slade was there, and a great guy. Spent some time talking to him. Cliff Williams was there, of course, and Stevie Young, his nephew, now playing guitar.
Right.
It's just a great guy. And so we had a little chit-chat with them, and then they went to work. And it was supposed to be a 3 or 4 song demo. 3 or 4 song audition. And then we ended up spending over 5 hours with them. Darren sang the whole Rocker Bus set with AC/DC. They went through the whole set, and they took some breaks throughout. And I think Darren told you about this. They would go out and smoke.
Right.
And they invited Darren to go smoke with them.
Right.
And they were telling him stories about Bon Scott and just some great stuff.
Smoke and have tea.
Yeah, with AC/DC, right?
They tea was a kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
For those guys, yeah.
Tea and crumpets. And they smoke. They're chain smokers. Boom, 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 boom.
And what was great is we all got to be there at that audition. They little did they know, but Mike was feeding us text messages periodically, just saying,
Right.
"Darren's killing it. They're doing another.
Right.
He's still there. Oh my God, we're at 10 songs, and just to give us the idea. So all of us back in Dallas here,
Yeah.
I actually stopped what I was doing and went to a local pub and sat there and watched for text just to hear about this because I was so distracted to do anything else. And we all got to be kind of a part of that whole thing while Darren was going through it. And we knew he was there a long time. And that doesn't happen for somebody they aren't that interested in. So.
Right.
I figure the longer he stays there, the more songs, the better it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
So they go through the whole Rocker Bus set, and we thought we were done. And then Angus asked Darren, he said, you want to play a couple more? And Darren's like, heck yeah. So they ended up doing, I think, Riff Raff and Dog Eat Dog.
Well, Darren called out.
Oh, yeah.
Angus said, Darren, why don't you call something out? And so Darren thinks about it for a second. He goes, how about we do Flick of the Switch? And Angus looks at him and looks at everybody else. He goes, do you guys remember that one? Nah, I don't remember that one. Pick another. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So the one song Darren picked, they didn't know.
Oh.
But
wow.
So funny.
And a great moment for me was I was able to watch Angus play up close like that, right?
Yeah.
And he is truly a guitar god. I mean, the way he plays that guitar and the vibrato and the feeling, and it was just, just a little rehearsal with a tribute singer, right?
Right.
Man, that guy, that blew me away. I'll never forget that, how that guy can play guitar. It's just, there's a reason why they're a big band like that.
Yeah.
He's really a talented player, and it's just great people. And I mean, and so at the end, we're kind of wrapping things up, and I thought Darren was out smoking with them again, and I went outside, and then Angus came out, and he was looking for me. He came over and he said, hey, thanks for coming out. He says, I really, appreciate you guys making the trip. He says he did really good. I'm like, God dang, how cool is this?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here talking outside with Angus, and
wow.
And it was just, it was amazing. It was just an incredible opportunity. And then they said, we consider you guys part of our family. You guys do such a great job. And, anytime we come on tour, if you guys want tickets, you want to come out, hang out with us, let us know. They gave me the hotline number, and we're in the AC/DC family now. So, I mean, just knowing that,
Right.
That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are classy. And
Absolutely.
It's like a lot of those guys that I've, met on these interviews, and they're, just like that. They're just classy people. And I think, guys, we ought to raise a glass to AC/DC.
Heck yeah.
Let's do that.
Thank you, AC/DC.
Absolutely. Come over here, Sheldon. Let's go over here. Actually, we'll go over here by Mike. We'll get a picture. Oop. Let's find Mike. There's Jimmy. There's Mike.
Raise your
Let's
glass.
raise our glass.
AC/DC.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Oh, we.
And clink.
Oh, there we go.
Cheers.
Yeah, what the hell are we doing?
Cheers, Nick.
Okay, let's hear another song. Let's hear Raise Your Glass.
How appropriate.
How appropriate. Jimmy, I think good at this production.
Here's a toast to all my rockin' friends. We raised some hell, we're gonna do it again. A lot of lives have passed away. Let's drink to them all. Remember the days. Raise your glass. Here's to good times. Sure. We're on borrowed time. Give your glass. Before life passes by. Raise your glass. Here's to good times. Gonna light it up when we hit the stage. All you party animals come out of your cage. Rocking out, no time to waste another day. 'Cause if you do, there'll be hell to pay. We get one shot, yeah, just one chance. Toss those dice and make that dance. Raise your glass. Here's to good times. Life is short. We're on borrowed time. Get some ass before life passes by. Raise your glass. Here's to good times. Raise your glass. Good times. Life is short. I'm gonna take what's mine. Get some ass before life passes by. Raise your glass. Here's to good times.
That was more of Stripwired. So, guys, tell me a little bit about how I know we've talked about, Stripwired and when it started, but I want you to tell me more. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, Sheldon, tell me about, there was something that happened during the audition with Darren and Mike there.
Okay, I wish Darren was here to tell you, but he's told us enough times that this one, it just cracks me up. When Darren turned around to sing, there were teleprompters all set up. This was full production rehearsal. So he's there and he's like, "Hey, I got teleprompters."
Let me interrupt you one second.
Lyrics. Yeah.
When they started Hell's Bells, they're all standing around, and Angus said, "What song you want to start with, Darren?" He's like, well, can we do Hell's Bells? That's my impression of Darren. And then Angus is holding his guitar, and he's just looking around. He goes, "Do we have bells? Are the bells?" And all of a sudden, bong, bong. So it was all this production.
Like everything's
all their
there.
guys were there, ready to run the show like a major concert. So
Wow.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We got bells.
Oh yeah, they're right in tour mode at this point. So I mean, they've got everything there. So they're running the teleprompters for everything. And Darren, they get to For Those About to Rock, and Darren's thinking in his head, "Hey, you know what? There's some words at the end of this that I don't know.
Right.
I've never known them. I've never been able to figure out what the hell Brian says here. I'm finally going to learn what it is." And when they get to that part where there's a bit of a scat at the end of the song, it's all question marks. There was nothing.
Isn't that awesome?
So
He's like,
They
"Damn
didn't
it, I'll
know.
never
nobody knows.
Yeah.
what
No
he's
one
saying.
knows.
Even Brian
Not
doesn't
even-
know what he said.
Yeah.
just a little bit of a mumble.
So that was another one of his moments there. But man, we lived it with you guys. It was great.
Yeah.
Not a bad day. Not a bad day.
Yeah. Well,
Well, and I was going to tell you what happened at the end. They sent us home, and they said, "Okay, you can't tell anybody about this. This is top secret.
right.
No one can know." I think it was over a month. We had
Yeah.
to keep the secret to ourselves, right? And then they went with Axl Rose, of course. So I found out.
Pardon me, not to interrupt, but of course, for that entire month, all we're getting hit with on Facebook and everywhere else is Darren should really go try out for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Has
Yeah.
Darren reached out to them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if
Right.
it's already been done
Right.
and over, and we're listening to it for a month?
Oh, wow.
doing
You
anything.
can't say a damn thing.
Yeah,
No.
sorry, go ahead.
So, they tell us to keep it quiet, and I had found out that Axl had been in that hotel, so I kind of knew that Axl was there auditioning, but we didn't tell anybody, and I come to find out after that before Darren auditioned, they had Axl already in their back pocket. He had reached out to the band and said, "Hey, I'm ready to help you guys out, but AC/DC, I think we're still kind of checking out their options." Actually, it was Vinnie Paul that kind of confirmed this for us. He had called to follow up on Darren, and they said because they had all those tickets sold, the band really liked Darren, but they thought the business decision was Axl, that he would be able to keep the butts in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
They were thinking about doing, this great underdog story about this tribute singer coming in and saving the day, but Axl Rose got it.
Can we do a quick segue to Vinny? Just back to heading back to Stripwired.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you know what, Vinny, we got to tell everybody, was very instrumental in actually taking this to the level where it really, because the groundswell was coming, it was swelling within all of us. Mike was really ready to turn these songs over to us and let us all, let's put this together the right way, and everything was coming together. And Vinny heard this music, and he said, "Man, I got to play this for Sterling. I got to let Sterling hear this stuff because I'm really digging it."
Mm-hmm.
Once Sterling heard it, that came through. That was the conduit through which it got to Sterling Winfield.
Oh,
Then
okay.
Sterling and talked to you about it, and the circle was complete. So
Right.
I mean, Vinny, as a great friend to the band and to so many people here in Dallas over the years, just what a sweetheart, man. I mean, without him, that connection wouldn't have happened, and
Right.
that all of these little things were taking it all up a notch.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, when you get a guy like that caliber, you know, saying, "Hey, you got something here," you know, this is what you got to get going, and it just helps you, you know, it just motivates you. So
there's a tiny bit of Vinny in this, in all this music.
Absolutely.
Right. That's awesome. You know, I want to play another song.
Okay.
It's going to be a video.
All right. I like videos.
And because it's 8:30, we don't have to stop because it's my freaking show.
All right.
So we're just going to keep going, and we're going to run into overtime.
We're not going to get arrested, are we?
I don't know, Mike.
All right. I won't break any
I
rules.
just want to know why you don't pull down your pants anymore on the stage.
Oh, I do. I do lunges and I tan my ass, so it looks really good. So people come on out tomorrow night to the reservoir in Frisco. You will see my ass.
He even does it when he's not supposed to.
Yeah, right.
Psycho lover, undercover, a never-ending emergency. Total distraction, the main attraction, a hot mess of liability. You know you like it, just can't get enough. You know you want it, want it hard, want it rough. You know you need it, never stop, never done. You only get one chance, you better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, you better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, she's a crazy bitch, you better turn it. Run, 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 run. Under pressure, gonna get you. Trapped in a web of insanity. Try to stop her, it gets her hotter than the flame of burning ecstasy. Now you can feel it, pain running through your veins. You can't escape it, never gonna be the same. Try to explain it. What crazy girls are so much fun. You only get one chance, you better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, you better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, she's a crazy bitch, you better turn it. Run, 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 run. Total satisfaction, put you in traction, make you beg, make you plead. It's time for you to leave. Now's your only chance, you better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, crazy bitch, better turn it. Run, crazy bitch, she's a crazy bitch, you better turn it. Run, run, you better go. Run, run now. Run, you better turn it. Run, run, keep on going. Run, don't look back. Run, you better turn and.
Great song. Another great song from Stripwired. And they just keep dishing them out here tonight.
Thank you.
Welcome. You earned it. So, moving forward, what's in the plan for Stripwired? Where are we going with this thing?
Well, we're gonna release this record in mid-January. Really excited. We heard the vinyl has been plated. It's
Nice.
a new term that I'm not familiar
That's
with.
an old term.
Yeah,
Super old.
vinyl
is.
has
Yeah.
been plated.
Can't wait to get mine.
Yeah.
It's been just a lifetime goal to have an album. So,
Yeah.
like Paul Stanley said, then I'm in the game. So.
And you don't have just an album. You've got amazing music, but then you've done something really cool with the album itself, the vinyl.
Oh yeah, we're doing that limited edition, the blue vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 500, there's gonna be that blue
Yeah.
vinyl, and I think that's gonna be so cool. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the when you get to the pre-order stuff, we are going to sign those ones too, because we just think, you know what, it is that first release. It's the first run of vinyl. It's blue vinyl. Let's make them a little bit more special and let's get them signed and stuff. So, we're going to put that into it as well.
Absolutely.
I know I want mine signed.
So our plan is
Mine too.
so here's my plan. So I met AC/DC. I seen their work ethic up close, and those guys are a really hard-working band.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason for their success. They are really a hard-working band, and it was very educational. It was just such a great experience. So when I came home, I told the guys, I said, "Man, we're gonna rehearse differently. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that." And I said, we got to do this record. And we're in I think, a very unique situation. The music business sucks. It's all messed up now. There's no record companies really. But here we are. We got this great tribute band, almost 20 years. We've got all these great fans, AC/DC fans. So we write a record that's totally AC/DC inspired, right? And now we can sell it and perform it to the correct demographic every time Back in Black plays.
Right.
And we have our own marketing vehicle,
Right.
So my goal was to just put out a great quality record, and then we're going to continue kicking ass with Back in Black, hopefully do another 100 shows this year, and we're going to sell the music to the AC/DC fans. And you know what? Now we have credibility, too, because my guy was almost the singer of AC/DC, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
What happens if Darren would have been the singer for AC/DC,
Yeah.
and then he comes back to us?
Right.
Are we still a tribute band?
Right.
Right? And
Right. Right.
It's
Something to
crazy.
think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they are at that point. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. No.
Oh, we got the
I
singer.
don't know. What I wonder about is what you guys would have done if Darren had got the job and left.
Well, we would have cried for
It would've been
many
tough.
months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd been tough to replace Darren.
It would have been
Yeah,
tough
yeah.
with a ton of dates on the calendar. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
It was actually a very serious conversation as to how
It
the heck
was-
we handle this.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
crazy because we
From a
want-
business standpoint, it would
Yeah.
have been difficult.
Yeah,
we wanted him to get it so bad, and then part of me is like, well, what are we gonna do? And I figured, if he would have been the singer for AC/DC, I think everything would have worked out just fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
but-
And then he would have
what
come
do
back. We would have been stronger than ever.
Right.
Yeah. We
But-
could have hired you as guitar techs or something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, we're excited. I can't wait for people to hear the record. It's been a lifetime goal of mine, and like I said, I've got the greatest lineup right now. These guys are great.
Well, and if you guys will start buying it, then we can start working on the next one.
Well,
You know.
how do they get it?
Oh, excellent question.
It's a wonderful question.
If you
Daryl.
call now,
1-800.
yeah, we have a link on the Facebook page, our Stripwired page. We have a little store on there. You can click on it. You can pre-order it now, or else you can go to stripwired.com and you can order it on there as well. Or come out to one of our shows, a Back in Black show. We're going to be at the Reservoir tomorrow night. And is it Frisco or Plano?
That's Frisco.
Frisco.
Frisco. Great venue. Always have a great time out there. And you can pre-order it anytime we perform. Come see us after the show. And that's about it, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Well, the pre-orders are, those are the special ones. Those are the ones for sure that we're going to be able to guarantee the blue vinyl and stuff like that. That'll be kind of fun.
Right.
Something unique.
And vinyl's making a comeback.
It,
right?
Oh, yeah.
it really
It
is,
has
man.
been.
I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of bands coming
Yeah.
out with albums now. I think it's
Yeah.
so cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. Of course, we were raised on vinyl, so
How about 8-track? Should we do an 8-track version,
no,
Daryl?
No,
And cassettes.
No.
And cassettes.
no 8-tracks, cassettes, but vinyl's cool, man.
Remember the 8-tracks you put it in? I remember I had a Doobie Brothers one. My favorite song was China Grove, and they would start the song, and then it would change the track. So the song would kind of fade out,
Yeah.
and then you hear the clicking noise,
Yeah.
about 15-second delay, then the song would pick up on the next track.
Every
Right.
time I hear Gonna Hitch a Ride by Boston, I know that just before the guitar solo, it's got to change. You know,
yeah.
Same thing.
I hated those 8-tracks.
Me too.
And I really hated cassettes.
You didn't like cassettes?
Oh, because I was constantly having to find a pencil and
Oh yeah, and tighten them up and
because they would unravel in the tape head.
Clean the heads.
Oh God, it was horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So you guys, I guess you heard that, stripwired.com. Stripwired.com is the place to go for everything Stripwired. They also have a Facebook page. It's Stripwired as well, facebook.com at Stripwired. You can follow them on Instagram at Stripwired or at StripwiredTX on Twitter. If you want to get the latest updates, which I have not disciplined myself to do that regularly, the Twitter thing. I do it for a couple of days and then I fade away, and then a week later I might think about it.
It's a commitment. Twitter's a commitment.
You know what? You got to hire somebody to do it because I just can't do it. Hey, I want to play a song because these people want to hear more songs, and I want to do Walk Away.
Walk Away.
Well, if she's there when you get home, but you never gave her a key, just listen to me. If she wakes you up to talk and it's a 3:15, the answer's easy. If she leaves you wanting more, just walk away. If she's banging on your door, just walk away. If she's got you climbing walls, just walk away. If she's got you by the balls, just walk away, walk away. If there's a picture in the garbage and it's you without your head, did you hear what I said? If you tell her to go home and she won't get out of your bed, you're better off dead. If she leaves you wanting more, just walk away. If she's banging on your door, just walk away. If she's got you climbing walls, just walk away. If she's got you by the balls,
We just wanted to write a great ripping rock song, and I just had the idea for that chorus. I thought it was a great chorus, and then Darren put the verses together for that one, and it just came together. Great
Wow.
song.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear it now.
I'm faster, disaster. I've been called a bastard. I'm under, no wonder. I've been called a monster. Make it big, make it scream, make it feel like you're a queen. And you know I'm gonna drop the ball, drop the ball. I'm gonna drop the ball. Stop right after the count. I'm gonna drop the ball. I'm sinning, I'm grinning. Yeah, I'm always winning. I'm shaking, I'm breaking. Never been mistaken. Make it crawl, let you fall. And then I'll put you up against the wall. And then you know I'm gonna drop the ball. Drop the ball. I'm gonna drop the ball. Stop right after the count. I'm gonna drop the ball. TNT time ball. I'm dying, I'm lying. Can't blame me for trying. I'm stealing, I'm feeling. I love it when you're kneeling. Make it big, make it scream, make it feel like you're a queen. And then you know I'm gonna drop the ball, drop the ball. I'm gonna drop the ball. Stop right after the count. I'm gonna drop the ball. TNT time bomb. I'm gonna drop the ball. Drop the ball. Drop the ball. Keep on dropping. Drop the ball. Keep on dropping. Drop the ball. Drop the ball. I'm gonna drop the ball. Drop the ball. Drop the ball. I'm gonna drop the ball.
Okay, Drop the Bomb by Stripwired. So we were talking during our little break here, and which we've done a lot of, guys, and a little bonding action going on. And I got to hear about the French thing.
Yeah, that was funny. When we released a little home demo, somehow this radio station in France got a hold of the record, and they were playing the song Walk Away. And I guess they fell in love with it, and they were using it actually for the intro and outro for their show. And they got a hold of us, and they said, can we please do an interview with you? So Darren and I took the call, and it was just really funny because I've never been over to France, and they say, aha, a lot. And they kept doing that throughout the interview. Instead of really paying attention, I just kept on wondering when when next time they would say it. And so they were asking Darren, they're like, Darren, how do you get your voice all raspy like that? What is your secret? And this is back when Darren was drinking. He's like, well, I like to do a couple shots of Jack Daniels. And they went, oh. and it was like that the whole interview. They kept saying that. So we thought that was pretty silly.
That is great. All right, guys, you want to play on one more song?
Let's play a little Big Bob Steele.
Big Bob Steele. We can't depart without a little Big Bob.
Yeah,
Steele. So here you go, guys.
I like Big Bob.
Well, his name is Big Bob Steele, and he never lost a fight. He's always had 2 girlfriends, and that's a happy life. He once put out a fire, and as the legend goes, he drank a keg of beer and used his own big hose. Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. He was huge. Every woman wants his child. Every man seeks his appeal. If the world could crown a king, it would be Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. Have you met him? One time he met a call girl, and she was so impressed. She gave back all his money as he started to undress. While camping in the mountains, he once fought off a bear. Didn't use a gun or knife, just his evil stare. Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. He's glad to see ya. Every woman wants his child. Every man seeks his appeal. If the world could crown a king, it would be Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. Big Bob Steele. I hear he's well endowed. When he met Her Majesty, he gave her a wink of his eye. In her private chamber, she was heard to say, oh my! Now some deny this story, just a tavern song to sing. But no one can explain how Big Bob became the king. Big Bob Steele. Hello, Bob, how you doing? Long time no see. Big Bob Steele. I guess you know those girls over there, they're walking kind of funny. Big Bob Steele. Well, Bob, it's good to see you, but I've got to get back to my life. Big Bob Steele. And by the way, stay the fuck away from my wife. I think he ruined her. How can I compete with that? Now it's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. I lost my car keys in there the other day.
At the festival? Hey. Man, you know, it's always a sad time of the show when it's drawing to a close. I hate it, but it is what it is. It's just can't last forever. But hey, guys, I really appreciate Stripwired being in the studio tonight. Sheldon
Hey.
and Mike.
Thank you.
Man,
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us,
And
man.
Nikki, the star of the video. Nikki's here, and it's freaking awesome to have her. Yeah, with her blonde hair.
With her new hair.
Her new hair. We shouldn't have said that, I guess. But Nikki, are you enjoying your cider?
Yes, it's delicious. I love cider.
Awesome. What kind did you have?
The pineapple crush, your favorite.
My favorite
Yeah.
that you like. Now I don't have one, but it's okay.
I'll share.
I gave it up for you. So, and no, we really enjoyed our Outlaw Cider tonight. So we appreciate it, Sean and Alan, you guys at Outlaw Cider Company in downtown Grapevine, Texas. And I want to say that my friend, Buddy Blaze, is having his 23rd, I'm just kidding, 34th, 42nd birthday bash and Christmas party, Buddy. I'm trying to be nice. at Diamond Gym Saloon in Arlington, this Saturday night in Battle Axe. The all-female Kim and all those gals are going to do that all-female band they put together, and this is like their first time ever to play
Oh
publicly.
yeah, they were talking about that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I tell you something fun about Kim?
I would love to hear it.
Okay, Kim is such a huge fan of Rick Savage.
Right.
When I was in Def Legend,
Right.
I built or bought I bought 6 basses that I had done in all of the paint schemes that Rick Savage uses.
Right.
So when I was out of that, here I am sitting on 5 basses, and she said, "What are you going to do with those?" She bought them all from me, and she has them all displayed at her house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that girl is a big fan.
I know Buddy's built her like 3.
Yeah, now she's
She's
obviously
like,
a Buddy fan.
There's no telling how many she has
Yeah.
total, but quite an awesome lady.
Oh, she's
All those ladies, Michelle Graves,
amazing.
all of them in that band are awesome, and I wish them the best. Ladies, we wish you the best Saturday night at your first show there at Diamond Gyms in Arlington. And they start, I think they take the stage at 7 o'clock. They open, and they got tons of good bands that night. They've got Witches Valley with Nona and 383. The Javelinas close the show, but I think they're charging a $10 cover, and it ought to be a good time. So you guys head out there to Buddy's whatever birthday bash, Merry Christmas party. Let's just call it a Christmas party, Buddy, because we don't want to talk about the years. And final notes here, guys. VokalNow.com is about everything vocal, and you can download the app or you can pull it up on your computer and stream the zoo. And here's some of the DJs from back in the day, like Beverly Beasley and Chaz Mixon and Ira Lipscomb and George Gamark. You can hear those guys because they're back. And BarsideJive.com is about all things me. You can check out my website. It'll tell you all about Barside Jive and other things that you may or may not want to know. And our show photographer today is the great Adonis. Yep, Palm Bomb Media. That's the guy. And a final thank you to Outlaw Cider Company. So, guys, we are out of here. Is there anything else I left out?
I don't know.
Just Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Absolutely.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bless us one and all. What is it? Bless us everyone.
Bless everyone.
There we go.
Bless you all. Bless them. Bless everyone. So don't forget, be kind to one another. Keep it real. Keep on rocking. We'll see you next Thursday, the 20th, right here, 7:30 p.m. in the Vokal Studios. Thank you very much for watching, and good night.
Thanks, Daryl.
You're
Night.
welcome. You're welcome.